I had a very specific idea of what I wanted my art to be. I wanted to paint men, I wanted to paint big, beautiful guys, and I wanted to paint muscles and hair and men, manly.
Naked men.
Manly.
There's a few naked men behind us here.
I'm sorry, what were we talking
We're
about?
gonna talk about this. Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Naked men.
That's right.
Benjamin Lester's work isn't just about painting the nude male form. It's about storytelling, myth-making, and reclaiming space. His wood panel paintings feel lived in, textured with history and emotion, blending classical techniques with a distinctly queer perspective. There's an intimate yet weighty presence in his figures, capturing moments of desire, power, and transformation. His palette, rooted in rich, earthy tones, grounds his work in something deeply masculine, yet undeniably tender. Take Thor Burns Castle Geirrod, a piece that reimagines Norse mythology through a queer lens, turning legend into something personal and intimate. Then there's Toast to Our Fallen, a haunting, deeply felt tribute to memory and resilience, where muted colors hold the weight and loss and remembrance. And Summoning Circle, a painting that exists in that liminal space between the physical and the spiritual, where the act of gathering itself becomes sacred. Lester's work doesn't just ask to be looked at, it asks to be felt. It challenges how we see masculinity, intimacy, and the way queer bodies are honored in art. And now, I'm honored to welcome Benjamin to the conversation, to dive deeper into his journey, his process, and the stories behind the canvas.
All right. So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
So every artist has kind of that one moment, a spark that kind of sets everything in motion for them.
Mm.
And I want to know what yours was. So take me back to the moment when art first became your refuge.
So, crippling depression, and my brain stopped processing dopamine, a series of bad concussions. And this was 2000, nobody gave a fuck. Can I cuss? Can I cuss? Okay. Nobody gave a fucking shit about my goddamn concussions. I'm just like, get back up on the ice. I was out for 3 or 4 seconds, which is a long time when you have an injury to the back of your head. Yeah. And my coach, get back up, do it again. I did the exact same lift again. Because you're going to be scared of it if you don't do it right now, or you could die or have severe, horrible depression.
So get up with a concussion.
Get up with a concussion, yeah. So no breaks, nothing. And so when I finally did get, injured to the point to where I couldn't compete anymore, it was bad. It was dark time.
Now, what sport were you doing?
Roller figure skating.
Roller figure skating.
And I was big into it. We were a very promising team.
Gold lame.
Oh, sequins, the whole thing. Oh yeah. We were pretty. We were beautiful, beautiful skaters.
You still are.
Oh, thank you. It's the beard. It kind of adds a little bit.
It does. Mm-hmm. Adds a little.
Oh yeah. But yeah, horrible time. My brain started kind of healing a little bit and started getting some of that dopamine back. And then I started painting, and it was like, boom. It was like joy again. And it was like the entire world turned into color. And I was like, wow, I can actually do this. And I had a very specific idea of what I wanted my art to be. And I was very much inspired by the old masters, and I wanted figurative, and I wanted to paint men, I wanted to paint big, beautiful guys, and I wanted to paint muscles and hair and men, manly.
Naked men.
Manly.
There's a few naked men behind us here.
I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
We're going to talk about this. Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Naked men.
That's right.
So what pulled you towards nude male? Like, why didn't you just do like landscapes or something? Why did you want to do the nude male?
And landscapes are great. And those artists that do landscapes, they're great. And good for them to do the landscapes, because those are awesome. And if you could tell, I've incorporated.
There's a little bit there.
Oh yeah. I think it is a great part of a narrative is the landscape. But yeah, the male figure is telling my story, and I know that's very self-centric, but that's art for you. You tell your own stories, and nobody's telling these stories from my point of view. or from our point of view.
Nobody ever accused gay men of being self-centered.
Yeah, no. But, you know, gay men have been a part of this industry. So sorry.
Take a drink.
An integral part of art history, but we were never told our stories. We were never allowed to.
We
Cause
had to tell everybody else's.
Exactly. So, so when I was able to, you know, tell our stories through bodies that looked like mine, and it just, something magic happened.
Was there a particular artist that inspired you in terms of?
I didn't give a shit.
You said the old masters. Is there one that you really?
So, yeah, Caravaggio. I love Caravaggio. I love Rembrandt. Vermeer is a huge inspiration for me. And their use of light, their use of color. Obviously, I inspired a lot by their use of color, and that palette, that lighting. It's all about light. Because if you don't have the right composition, if you don't have the right balance between the dark and the light, get those dramatic shifts in there, then it just kind of falls apart and it's boring. So I don't want to be boring.
Don't be boring.
I'm not, and
Shouldn't be boring.
I'm never boring.
It should make you feel.
Actually, I'm often boring.
You're not boring. So, how did your early experiences in the queer community, like right after you came out? What was the timing between that concussion accident and coming out? And did that have a timing effect on?
Yeah. So I came out very early. So my
You were doing figure skating.
Exactly. So I was raised by a single dad, and who was like desperate to get me to be into something because I didn't give anything about anything, and he tried all these different sports like soccer and baseball and karate, which karate was okay. I liked karate, and then I did roller figure skating, and it was like everything I loved about everything in the world was all in this one sport, and it was perfect. And I just threw my entire self into that thing, and so my dad figured out very quickly that this boy was not going to be, you know, the hetero, you know, football player that he was. Yeah. I was going to be somebody completely different, and he was totally about it. He was like,
"You were going to paint football players."
Maybe. No, he didn't know that at the time. But he was like, you know, you want to be in sparkly onesies? Let's get them for you. You know, you want to be in your twirl around on your figure skates? And he did it. He drove me to every practice. He was at every competition. He did everything he could to make sure that, sorry. But yeah, so he totally supported me. So when I figured out that I was not straight and that I was gay, I told him I was 16, I think. Mm-hmm. I was like, and he gave me a hug. He told me your life's going to be harder than other people's, and I'm sorry. And I still love you, and you're always my son. And so that was my experience coming out. And I really kind of thought that was just how people came out. And then, you know, years later, I hear all these horror stories of being like thrown into the streets and, you know, physically assaulted by your own family. And it's like, yeah. So it's like, well, that's not my experience. I was like, well, I will hear your stories and I will tell them in my way. So,
do you tell those stories in your art?
Not that story, but many of our stories are incorporated in there, especially the love and support that gay men show each other, which I think is unique to our community. Straight people don't do that.
No.
A straight guy would never call his buddy to take him to the vet to have his cat put down. They're going to do that alone. Yeah. Well, I've had friends, hey, I need some support. And we're there for each other. I think that's a great lesson that our community can share with men. Masculinity is not toxic. It doesn't have to be.
Correct.
You can do it right.
Yes.
And I think we do it right sometimes.
Do you try to show that tenderness?
Oh, yeah. Well, the painting right behind you. So this was inspired... So this was inspired by an old coach of mine that I recently came back in contact with. When I had to been like 15, 16. He was 25 and he was just came back from the military. And he was saying that I'm a quarter century years old. I have 5 people that are very close to me that are gone. And he was like, it's like I have to hold that memory so that they can move forward. And this is what that painting is, to where the survivors come together, they're having the drink. I set the funeral urns to the left. If you can see those. And between them, you have the heavenly light on the right, as if the toast, the people coming together, is creating a path through heaven. And that's the way that I have little funny stories. I imagine the little funeral urns kind of like heaven. Like little Disney characters kind of scurrying across the table. Yes, I thought that
Their
was
own
really funny.
personalities.
Exactly.
Singing songs. Are the two people in the painting representative of a certain aspect?
So the figure looking at the viewer, I wanted it to be ambiguous. Is he telling us to fuck off, or is he inviting us in? Like, are we invited into this space, or are we not? And I like,
to me, like he's like, we're having a private moment.
I don't think he's sure.
Maybe.
And I think the ultimate decision is yours.
Like I feel a little guilty watching the scene with his look on his face. Like I've been
I could see that.
on a private moment.
Honestly, I think if you walked in and got that look and you walked out, no one would blame you.
Yeah. And the bearded guy looking up into the light.
Oh yeah.
That's his story.
So he's kind of guiding the situation. You know, he's the one that brought them together. He's the one that is creating this path for his friends. And I really like that idea. I like having the candles kind of represent not sin so much. There's 6 of them. So that's earth, right? Gotcha. In the Bible. And kind of creating that color palette to represent, you know, kind of the earthly light compared to the coolness of the heavenly light, and create that contrast. And I really like that. And I think it's a powerful piece. I think it really works.
I agree. And it shows a tenderness between the two of them.
Which, like in the straight community, especially the military community, they allow that. Yeah. That they allow that connection between men when it comes to that. Violence. Yeah. Violence and destruction. They can bond, they can have emotions, they can cry about that. But
other things.
Oh yeah. There are other walls. And there's no walls in this painting.
So
actually there's lots of walls and they're painted beautifully. But.
They are. Tell me about how you approached the concept of this. Like how did you come up with the idea? How did you initially formulate the image in your head?
So I think you're putting a lot more forethought into my process than I do. I don't care. I'm just I get on my iPad and I just kind of like start drawing shapes. And I'm thinking about things and I'm thinking about stories I know and things people have told me. If you want to gossip with me, I will love that. And I will take those stories and I will incorporate them somehow. But
we'll do the gossip.
Oh yeah. That's a different podcast. After hours. Anyway, and so I create the shapes that I want, I create the feelings that I want, and then I just kind of make it up. Intuition, which is hard to teach.
So you don't start with a concept that you want it to live into. You kind of start with shapes and things that are inspiring you at the moment, and then the painting just becomes what it becomes.
I might start with the size. Like I have this panel that I want to go with, and these panels are beautiful.
Why do you paint on the wood?
Oh, the wood. I love these panels. I think that they are one, they're so hefty. And they can last forever. You could defend your family with one of these.
Yeah, you could knock somebody out with it.
Like, no offense to you're not going to stop an intruder with one of those. No, it's like, what, is he going to get lost in the debris? No, you need something hefty.
The glass fiber.
Oh, yeah. These things are so strong, they could be entered into evidence in a crime. There's that, and nothing's going to hurt these things. They're so, I painted on canvas for a long time. And I decided I was going to like cut up a bunch of canvases and kind of put them together in like kind of like a collage type of thing. And I took an X-Acto knife to it, and it was like butter, and it just slipped through the canvas. And I was like, this this is an expensive painting, and how fragile this thing is. And I was like, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna get this onto something that's gonna last a bit longer. Which wood is what the old masters painted on. It's what all Caravaggio's are on. All the Rembrandts are all on birchwood panels. So which is what I use. And these things, they're sealed front and back. You could put them up in a swamp and they'd be fine.
Gotcha. They give a little bit of a texture to the painting, I think, too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think that natural kind of wood. I think they're.
The wood, I think, might even add to the masculinity of the.
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
So, some of the works that I've seen you do before, I know you've posed models, taken photos of them, and then used those photos in an inspired painting. Tell me about that process. Did you use that process in any of these?
So I did that process for a long time. I would have people come in and they would donate their time. These beautiful, beautiful guys would come into my studio and take off their clothes. I don't know why. Because I asked. That's and they would do that for me, and I would try my best to compose them. That was a learning process because I didn't know how other people's bodies worked, and I thought that you would have the same kind of intuition with movement that I do after 20 years of dance training. And I couldn't get them to do like pretty fingers. Like come on, be pretty. But and trying to like those type of things, it took me a while to figure out that I have to let the energy that's brought in come out, and then I can't have any ideas going in because I would have all these ideas that you can't do. I had can I name people? I had a model, let's call him Todd. So his name's Todd.
Okay.
Anyway, and yeah, hi Todd. Big guy, big muscular guy, huge beard, very masculine guy. And I had this idea. I was going to have masculinity, but like vulnerable. I was going to have him in like a very vulnerable stance and like very vulnerable expressions. And then that contrast I thought was going to be really pretty. He could not do it. He could not be vulnerable to save his life. And it's like, okay, he's got like this strong masculine presence. And I made some strong masculine paintings out of those. And they were very popular. And if I would have drilled him into being vulnerable, I probably would have had to actually like hurt him somehow, drive him to his knees. Yeah, exactly.
If I know who you're talking about, I don't want to try to
say, okay, I'm going to need your consent because if I don't, that's not going to happen. Yeah. But yeah, so just kind of take the energy that you have, and I have a big repertoire of photos that I have in storage, and I can just kind of look through. And now what I'm doing more is I'm just kind of creating facial expressions, and I stop when it looks real. It's like, oh, that looks like a person. It's done. And I'll find I need a hand that's in this shape, and so I'll just go through all my photos and I'll find a hand that's in that shape, or an arm or a leg or whatever, and I'll just break these people apart.
Face from this photo, an arm from
exactly,
that photo,
exactly.
a leg from that photo, maybe a penis from that other photo.
Oh yeah, enlarged a little. I would never.
So I want to talk about this one on the end. But
okay.
Summoning Circle, I think, is what you call it.
Summoning Circle. Oh yeah.
I was trying to figure out how I wanted to describe this, how this painting talked to me, and the only thing that came to me that made sense was that it's kind of this liminal space between the physical and the spiritual, because you've got like this kind of mystical summoning circle that the man is laying in. So that kind of calls to the spiritual, but he's also very physical, naked.
Oh yeah.
There. Is that what you were going for? Kind of, that's what it says to me. What were you going for with that?
So and it's not a prosperity spell per se, but inspired by a prosperity spell, the circle itself. And so for health, vitality, riches. And so this is like, I'm not sure if he is what's being offered for these things or if he was what was granted, if that makes sense. What is he the thing?
Is this the beginning of the spell?
Or the end? Exactly, exactly. So that was kind of my idea with that. And I have
If that's what the spell delivers, I'm gonna need to borrow the book.
I'm gonna need that spell book. Yeah, all the ingredients. A friend of mine who reads palms does that kind of stuff. I had him help me and write the most prosperous palms that I could possibly create. It's like longest lines of everything. It kind of involved, that
So
summoning
there a
of
story in the
perfection.
lines of his poems?
Well, no, not so much, but that he's summoning the long life, that this is health and all of that, self-care kind of brought down spiritually. I like that idea. Plus nude hot guy, so.
Nude hot guy.
Oh yeah.
I think I know who that guy is. So let's talk through a little bit of challenges and breakthroughs, because every artist hits roadblocks. Sometimes there are things externally that are coming at them. Sometimes there are internal roadblocks that you have to deal with. Talk about roadblocks and challenges that you faced, and how that shapes your work and how you get past those roadblocks.
So my style of art, the figurative realism, these big multi-figure epic storytelling pieces, that genre is overrun by the religious right. And it's all LDS. It's all very, very conservative. And I didn't realize that coming in when I'm like knocking on the door, hey, help me, I'm trying to learn these skills. And just to have like that hard no, and that you are not welcome here. And that was very, very obvious very, very quickly. And I did not understand. I just thought it wasn't good enough. Yeah. It's like, oh, well, my art's not good enough. And then I got to the point where it's like, well, clearly I'm doing good work and they still won't respond to me. It's like, what else? Like, what else can I do besides,
I mean, there's plenty of nude men in the Sistine Chapel.
That's true. That's true.
You would think that there would be space for that, but
not for us.
Not for us.
Yeah, if you can get it straight enough, if you can get it mainstream enough, it'll work. I'm too open about my sexuality. I'm too vocal about my political leanings that I'm not welcome in that world. And I'm not really looking into that world that closely, so I may be judging it a little harshly, if you know what I mean. As the Atelier system, which is, there's a series of schools that teach this style. Actually, they teach a similar. They do much more traditional of what the old masters were doing. And when I reach out to them, they're very resistant to outside art because their structure is so regimented. And they have this particular system. The students go in. They have to be good to get in, first off. I think I forget your last guest's name, but he was talking about he went to an artist high school. Okay. And did 4 years at an art high school, went into one of these Italian, or he could have, but go into these. Yeah. Yeah, but he went on to do very good episode. But he went on to do like his psychology kind of stuff. So he didn't go into that art, but a lot of these kids, they spend years getting into these ateliers, and then they learn the exact same skills as everyone else. And I see these they're all over the art scene here in Dallas, and they all look exactly the same. I thought it was the same artist, and it's like, oh, these are all different artists, that it's like, oh, this is a school so cranking these people out. Yeah, the same system. That's right. And so Art Dojo down in Austin, like all of their stuff, all of their people are coming out just cookie cutter exactly. They have the academic nudes, they have the 3/4 portraits, they have the bust sketches, they do all of that. And which, I did that all at home by myself. I didn't pay people to do, like, people have been painting this way a long time. You don't have to pay to learn how to do this. All the information's out there. You just have to be diligent and do it yourself. And I was listening to a podcast with Michael Klein, who went through that entire process. And he came out of Atelier and didn't have a voice, and he just disappeared into a studio for 5 or 6 years, learned a voice, and came out. And you look at all of these, because especially Atelier of Boston or New York, they have big stars that come out of those systems, but the stars don't look like the art that's coming out of those systems. Yeah. And it's like they go on, they learn all these skills, and then they go on, and then they, find out how to be artists. Whereas what I did, I kind of did the opposite. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I, through regimented practice, built these skills up to where now I can do that. So here I am. I spent 12 years. They spent 12 years, except I come out fully voiced as an artist, whereas they come out having no idea what they're doing. You need to disappear for years on end before they find a voice.
So you're saying they're coming out without their own voice about what they want to say in their art?
So
about how they depict their voice in the art is the same style.
When I am trying to figure out a transition, like how do I move from this space to this space, I have to find that answer. They're given the answer. They're told what the problem is. They're given the answer. So when they go to solve these problems, all these answers are prescribed to them. And if they choose the wrong answer, they're reprimanded and fixed it. So they have to go back and it's like, oh, well, no, this is how you do, your cross tracing, or this is how you do your hatch work, or all of that. And so if you do it wrong, you get graded, you do it right. Whereas I decided what was right. It's like, if this was how I wanted that hatch work to go, and it never is. It's never good enough. You just kind of incremental steps to get better. And you just end up in such a more organic place.
So let's talk about the middle piece.
Thor.
This is a really beautiful piece.
Oh, yeah.
I can definitely see the old master style in this painting. Tell me a little bit about this.
So the structure was really important to me. I wanted the multiple figure. I wanted that epic feel. I wanted there to be movement. I wanted to be able to control where you were going. I wanted to have lots of little surprises everywhere. And I really achieved that. I'm so happy with this.
Yeah, there's lots of little stories going on in this.
Oh, yeah. He's been rejected out of 4 shows.
It has? Wow. Why?
Nudity. Do you see it?
I don't think I see a penis in it.
There's no penises.
Yeah.
This guy was what was cited, because it's not...
How many nude women
Lots.
were accepted into that show?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's, breasts, I guess, free the nipple. What about the penis? Free the penis.
Free the penis.
Who wants to see boobies? Nobody.
Well, I mean, lots of people want to see boobies. And
Not me.
Even some gay men that don't mind seeing boobies. And boobies make great art, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But I think there's value in showing
There's
more.
room.
There's plenty of room for penis. What's the story behind this piece? What story is this piece telling?
Thor is so hot. That's pretty much the central part of the piece. But I don't know if you know a lot about Norse mythology.
A little bit.
I know absolutely nothing. I'm kind of skimming through these stories and trying to see just like where can I put myself into these stories? How can I retell these in my own way? And the story with this one, don't ask me to say names because I'm not going to. It's actually the title of the painting involves this name. That's how you say it. That is the correct way to say it. Exactly. You want to try that? No,
Yeah,
it's too hard. Yeah, good luck with that. But so he's a giant. He's got 2 daughters that are also giants. He has a castle. Thor comes in, kind of, maybe I'll marry one of your daughters, except doesn't. Hijinks. He murders the guy murders the daughters and burns the castle down. And the story is kind of like Go Thor, you know, evil giants, good man Thor. I did not like that. I'm imagining the story very differently. I'm imagining this was some kind of deal gone wrong, that they are not happy about their burning the castle. This was not how this was supposed to go. They have blood on their hands. They're doing their best to wash it off. That was kind of the story that I wanted to tell. And if you look up at the castle, because he doesn't have his hammer. His hammer is gone. It's taken from him. It's actually way at the top, way over here, circled by crows, represent its death, because he is no longer worthy of it. And you have the crows, this guy, and I think you have another crow that's kind of hidden behind that other painting. But they, the ravens that represent Odin's eyes. Mm-hmm. And if you look, they don't look very approving. They look quite disapprovingly, which I was, because they're like this big. And I was like, that is a judgmental crow. I'm so good at this.
I've got a few of those down there. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Pigeons, too. Oh, they're the worst. So judgmental. Like, every time I see pigeons, they make me recheck my life choices.
Yeah. So let's talk about legacy a little bit. When you think about your legacy in art, the legacy you're building with your art, what do you hope people take away from your reimagining of the male nude and queer identity?
Like, kind of viewing myself in the larger scape of the world or whatever. That's kind of, it's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. Like, I'm not curing cancer. I'm not trying to cure cancer. I'm just trying to be myself. And if me being, you know, if people find interest in that, if I am curing cancer, I don't have to try. It just happens, you know. So it's like my legacy or whatever. I want to make money. I want to make enough money on my art to where I don't need to do anything else. I want to do this because I've been full-time as an artist for 5 years. I don't want to get a real job. I think I'm good enough. I think the work is good enough. I think I should be able to do this forever, and that's my legacy.
Doing it forever.
Exactly.
Having a fortune to hand down to someone.
No fortunes. Nobody's going to get rich off of this. Nobody's made it.
Well, that's the sad thing, is that artists get rich after they're dead.
Well, then you have artists like, you know, Thomas Kincaid, that like just, you know, has China sweatshops of people making all of his paintings. I think Kuntz is like that too. He's got a factory in New York, and just hundreds of artists just making his works, and he's, you know, raking in the dough. Yeah. I need hundreds of people. Hey, if you want to come, you know.
Anybody out there?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Caravaggio had hundreds of students. He wasn't painting any of those himself. He just signed his name at the end.
Correct. What's next? I mean, are you looking at continuing doing the male nude? Forever, or do you want to kind of branch out?
Forever? Yeah, there's so much more. There's so much more to this. There's so much more about the face and the body and expression. There's so many stories to tell. You can do this forever. You know, there are people that paint horses forever. Why can't I paint
naked men?
Yeah. I could. There's
paint what you're passionate about.
8 billion people, and half of them are naked men sometimes.
So, all right, it's that time, the end of the episode. We're going to turn up the heat and get real and raw, and we're going to ask the 10 questions.
I've been fake this whole time. Yeah, so now this is real. This is real.
This is real. 10 questions based off of the famous ones that were made popular on Inside the Actors Studio, but with a little artistic switch to them.
Okay.
So, what's your favorite artistic medium or tool?
Oil paint.
What artistic trend or cliche do you wish would disappear?
I don't want to say.
What fuels your creativity the most?
My community. My family. My dad, a lot.
Yeah.
Like all my early examples of masculinity, those people.
Your dad was an early
Oh
example
yeah.
of masculinity.
Oh yeah. My dad is a very masculine guy, effortlessly so. And I had that example of like, don't be a fucking dick about it. It's like, my dad's not a dick, so.
Well, and I think one of the best and most important aspects of true masculinity is nurturing and caring for those that you are responsible for. And loving and supporting your gay son is a testament to that. So, yeah. I think your dad is very masculine for doing that.
Hey, Dad.
What sound or noise instantly inspires you?
The little PayPal ding. Ooh.
Getting paid.
Oh.
Inspires you.
Oh, that's. And then that little, it's like, yeah. Order finalized. I'm just like,
What sound or noise completely kills your focus?
oh, nails on a chalkboard. Like literally, like that noise, I cannot stand it. I cannot.
I can't. It's not good. What's your favorite word or phrase to include in your work, literally or metaphorically?
Fucking doesn't matter.
Fucking doesn't matter.
Fuck it. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
I like that.
Yeah.
If you could see any queer artist, living or dead, honored with a major public monument, who would it be?
Well, me, but yeah, that's a hard one. There's there's so many, and nobody has one, so it's not like you're just like, well, who needs one? We all do, and so yeah, so us in general, I think.
Someone that represents
Both of us.
both of us.
It'd be the prettiest statue in all of Dallas.
I don't know about that.
No, I'd make sure of it.
Photograph it. What is one profession or creative field you could never see yourself in?
Oh, food service. I could never be a waitress. Never.
Yeah.
I would be arrested. I would be in prison. There would be murders. There would be movies about me.
Very few tips. If your art could take on a life of its own, what form would it take?
It'd be like bear dance, I think.
Ooh, I like that.
Like TBRU bear dance? Oh, yeah.
And finally, what do you hope your art says about you to those who find it in the future?
Well, I don't believe the afterlife, but I think my art will speak to people after I'm gone. And they'll say that this is, these were stories that needed to be told. And these are unique stories. And I think this example of masculinity is something that will persist into the future. And I think some of the examples that we're seeing that aren't so positive, I think they're going to go away.
I sure hope so.
I certainly hope so too.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me on this.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
It was good to see you.